kick off our second half, I'd like to introduce my longtime colleague and friend, the COO and co-founder of the council, Mike Meriton, who's going to provide us with an update on the many programs and membership features that have taken place at the council. Mike, turn it over to you.
Thanks, John, and welcome everyone back from the break. Congratulations, Jerome, on the drawing. We will also be doing another drawing at the end. But the only requirement is you have to be on to win the course. And so please stay tuned. So a little bit about the EDM Council. Some people participating today may not have a full understanding of the remit and agenda, essentially, of the EDM Council. Our mission is to elevate the practice of data management and analytics through best practice, data standards, research, and education. We've been operating for over 15 years, and we have 6 major advocacies. We support members with best practices, with data standards, with training and certification programs, research and benchmarking that essentially charters our directions forward. Many members of the council are also global regulators, central banks and other authorities. They're part of the membership, and we engage with regulators. And finally, all of the work products of the council are essentially built in collaboration with members, and that networking is the way that gets done. We also believe that since the data and analytic professions are newer, that by networking members together, we give the best chance for sharing of lessons learned and how to make the path as easy and productive as possible going forward. So a little bit about the council's membership. These are recent joiners. You'll see some very interesting logos. Of course, new additions in the financial markets like Banco Santander and Westpac and ANZ and others throughout the world. You'll also see some new logos in new industries. So notably, AstraZeneca joined the EDM Council to lead a life sciences chapter, Schneider Electric for sustainable energy. And we've had great additions. And also on the major technology and digital firms, both Microsoft and Google recently joining the EDM Council, especially participating in our work around cloud data management. So part of our commitment as an organization is, though our heritage has always been the core financial markets and insurance companies like New York Life just came on board, one of the top firms worldwide, we're now forming new chapters in new industries, so more to come on that. In fact, today we had a global telecommunications company join, and we will be announcing the name shortly. So with that, this is our chance to get all the logos on one page. John, I think we're at a point where we need to organize this over a couple of slides. A little bit about the benchmark. I did share that, and it does charter how we carry the business going forward to serve our members. These are results from the 2020 global benchmark. If you'd like to read the full report, you can find that at the EDM Council website, edmcouncil.org, and you can click on the benchmark tab. But a couple of observations from it. First, this was recently conducted. It was a fair measure across the globe. You'll see that the participation rates between Americas, EMEA, and APAC were relatively level, so it is a full global survey. And number 2, it also featured not only 35 countries, but 31% of the respondents were in industries outside of the financial industry. And as we grow these surveys, we will be featuring more and more industries in addition to the core financial markets. Now, a couple of headlines. We've been doing this survey for several years. And one of the questions is, where does the CDO function fit inside of the broader organization? Now, if you go back to 2017, the highest reported result was that the data management program reported into the CIO. That was the highest response of 32%. But in 2020, that has changed. The role has grown. It now 28% of the time reports into the chief operating officer function, which often includes IT. And in 15% of the instances, you'll see that the CDO is reporting into the chief executive officer. So one of the big takeaways from this benchmark is the role of data management is raising higher in the organization. The next takeaway that you'll find is that where and what is the remit? In other words, what is the scope of the data function? 3 years ago, it was the core data management functions, data governance, data quality, and the data program was built in response to risk and regulatory requirements, and in the financial industry, response and readiness for BCBS compliance. Well, today, a very interesting observation that the data management program, 52% of the time, includes responsibilities for data analytics, and 42% of the time responsible for data ethics. So the scope of the role is getting bigger, and it's an acknowledgement. In fact, this was measured by a big article by Computer World, that over 70 to 80% of failed analytic programs were due to issues with the data supply chain. So what many companies are doing, and is measured in this benchmark, is that by combining the data supply chain and the analytics functions together, you generate even better results in your analytic and your insights. And this is reflective of the role of the data program growing broader in scope as well. Another question we asked, and there were many, many that you can read in the full report, which is 75 pages long, is are you using a maturity model? And if so, which ones? Good news to share back is that over 52% of companies are using a maturity model. And for everyone we measured, the highest adopted model in the marketplace is DCAM, which is the EDM Council's Data Management Capability Assessment Model. So a little bit about the best practice framework updates. If you take the context of the global benchmark, we've seen the role is growing higher in the organization, and it's also getting broader. So one of the obligations we had is to make sure the DCAM framework is keeping pace with the fact that now the data program is often owning or providing the sandbox for the analytics in a company. So one of the things we did is we formed a work group earlier this year to build out a new component number 8 for analytics. These are some of the firms that participated in that work group to make sure we had both a global and cross-industry view. And the resultant, published this October, is the new DCAM 2.2 release. And what you'll see on this screen is the 7 top-line capabilities for running an effective analytics program. And underneath these 7 capabilities are nearly 30 sub-capabilities. So for all the members of the EDM Council and anyone that would like to learn about this, you now have an option. You can go and scorecard your analytics program now using this best practice guidance, or you can scorecard the original 7 components of DCAM, which is your data supply chain, or you can do all 8 components and measure where you are in your best practices across both your data supply and your analytic initiatives. So if you would like to get access to these materials, simply visit the EDM Council website. You can register for EDM Connect, which is our online community, and you can download the 2.2 version of the DCAM materials and see all of this guidance for you and your team. We also do have training courses. You'll see this is the 2-day consecutive class. It's 6 hours each day. We've done quite a few of these courses, both open courses for many companies to participate in. We do them in all the major time zones, Americas, UK, Europe, and also India and APAC region. And we also do these courses dedicated to individual companies. So if you want us to come on site and you have 10 or more students, we can deliver this course to you directly. We've done about 30 or 40 courses since May, so hundreds and hundreds of students and now thousands worldwide. And this is a certificate program. We've also launched a data ethics course, which is both featured inside of the materials of DCAM, but Diana Asher, who's one of the global experts, she is a department chair at UCLA University, one of the global experts in data ethics. She has built and designed not only the guidance into DCAM, but as an independent course. So if you'd like to get certified on data ethics, in fact, on December 3rd and 4th, we still have a few spaces available for the Americas course. We just finished a very active course a week ago for the UK and Europe region. And we'll have more courses in 2021. Another area that we've made available for DCAM is a knowledge portal. So everything in the content of DCAM is accessible digitally. So we encourage you to visit the EDM Connect member platform. You can access all of these digital resources that make using DCAM at your fingertips and for all of your staff members as well. A couple other things to announce. We've had 2 new survey tools announced for DCAM. Our original core partner is Element 22 with a platform called Palistro. But today we have also recently announced a company called KickTag that offers a survey platform and another one that recently came on board with the EDM Council called Risk Rhino. And what these tools let you do is if you're administering an assessment across, let's say 30, 40, 50, or 100 or more in your population, this platform or these platforms will actually assist you in surveying very large populations, capturing the data. The full DCAM framework has been ingested into this platform, and then you get all of your analytics, including comparing to the global benchmark report, which means if you do an assessment, you have the ability to see where are you within your company, and then also where do you fit against your peer group on a regional or global basis. So we encourage you, these are all offered independent of the council, and you can directly speak to them if you'd like to learn more. What I'd like to do now is introduce Philip Dutton. Philip is the co-founder of Solidatus, a very important DCAM partner. Philip, over to you, a little bit about the updates with the new digital modeling solutions that have recently been brought out.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mike, and thanks everyone for your time today. Yeah, so Solidatus and the EDM Council have been working together for a bit over a year now, and we've been working on being able to present the models like DCAM and really trying to integrate those into other frameworks. So being able to, say, compare the DCAM framework against something like a BCBS 239. So looking at the principles of BCBS 239 and having a direct mapping between those. So on the screen at the moment, you'll notice the migration from a DCAM version 1.3 to 2.1. So really trying to visualize, to simplify the path from moving between frameworks, or understanding the intersection between them, understand the impact for the organization. So we've been working around the cloud data management and creating the model for that. Also unstructured data, looking at creating new language versions of DCAM as well. So a Spanish version is in the works at the moment. And really I think the power of what we're trying to do is create that visualization so that you can integrate this into the organization. So have DCAM being able to be used as that benchmark, that sand, that stick in the sand to say, this is where we are and this is what we're basing our organization's assessments off. But I want to see that against several different regulations. So whether that's a GDPR or a PDPA, so some of the privacy regulations, or as I mentioned, BCBS 239. So really being able to create these capability models where you can model not just the external regulation in its entirety, but map that through the organizational policies that you have. So we can do a delta assessment, being able to do a gap analysis of where does our current data policies fall down as new elements enter DCAM. So when data ethics comes in, when the new analytics elements come in, how does our data policy need to change, and how does that then place us against the requirements for different regulations? And so really trying to create this holistic connected model. And I think the Solidatus visualization takes that ability to simplify that complexity that was being talked about by Amit, really enabling this to become part of a process. And I think this is available, well, it is available for all of the EDM Council members. So all of the material that is generated by the EDM Council is accessible through a read-only version of the Solidatus tool on the platform. So encourage everyone to go onto EDM Connect, access the tool, be able to investigate the new elements of DCAM, and see how that matches against different regulations. PwC is currently implementing with the EDM Council the India data protection into the common framework. So hopefully everyone can utilize this to benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. And again, to mention, if anyone would like to learn and see these actual digital models, all you need to do is register on EDM Connect, which you can find right off of the EDM Council homepage. And all of these models are available on read basis for all members, and it's part of your basic membership. So Philip, thank you. Exciting and quite a bit more coming around new models that will be released, and we'll be announcing that. I'm going to turn the agenda now over to the Open Knowledge Graph and FIBO initiatives by the EDM Council, and you'll see a very important understanding, and this actually was prepared by Gartner Group not too long ago, that graph and data fabric is in the top 10 list of key technology trends moving forward for 2020 and beyond. We've actually had a couple of conferences where the council has partnered with Gartner Group, and more to come on this particular topic. And for the council, many of you may have heard of FIBO, the Financial Industry Business Ontology. It is an open source ontology that's accessible from the EDM Council website, so you're able to download it. It's available to both members and non-members, though members get an opportunity to add and shape what is the next versions of FIBO, but it's open to the public markets overall. In addition to that, we earlier this year announced the Open Knowledge Graph brand, which means the council now is making available additional resources to help promote the advancement of graph worldwide. And what would that be? Additional industry ontologies. You'll see on this chart that we have released an automotive ontology for those in the automotive space. We're hopeful over time we'll add in other industries, let's say life sciences and others. These are examples, by the way, of many companies that are technology and solution providers that have created FIBO adapters to speed up the implementation of their platforms within their particular environment. So we have a large list of companies that have built FIBO and ontology-based accelerators. In addition to that, we've also launched a knowledge graph, open knowledge graph course. It's a 2-day course, 6 hours each day, and it's designed for both business and technical participants. There's no prerequisite, but at the end, you will be accredited in knowledge graph fundamentals and you'll receive a digital badge. And in fact, we have 2 courses coming up, one on December 8th and 9th in India, APAC, EMEA region, and on the 17th and 18th. If you'd like to register, just visit the EDM Council homepage, click on training, and then you can register for these courses. In addition to that, we've also launched a shared lab. And our first use case is around AML and risk detection. So we did an initial effort with one of the large government entities where we evaluated a fraud ontology, conducted a training course, and then now we've moved on to the much bigger issue that one of the major challenges in fraud and anti-money laundering detection. I mean, this is a staggering statistic, thanks to the EY team for providing this information, that there's only 1% of recovery rate for recovering any proceeds. That means 99% of fraud and AML activities are not recovered. So the bad guys are winning the race on this, and we see Graph as an excellent shared use case, which is companies sharing a common ontology based on the basics of FIBO, but extended into the fraud and AML space. We have about 6 companies working on this lab activity. If you're interested, just reach out to myself or write us a note at info@edmcouncil.org, and we can connect you and your company into this use case. It's great because we have participation from major platform providers like TigerGraph and Neo4j and Stardog and others. And we are having major consultancies involved, and we have a group of banks that are looking into this use case as a shared activity. In addition to that, I'd like to now introduce Bryon Jacob, the founder and CTO at Data.World, a new member of the EDM Council. Bryon, welcome.
Thank you, Mike. So I'm just going to give a really quick overview of Data.World. You know, we were founded in 2015 as a public benefit corporation. Folks aren't familiar with that construct. It's, you know, in most ways a C Corp, a very much a for-profit organization, but with a public benefit statement folded into the corporate charter. As part of that, in addition to our enterprise data catalog platform, we run the world's largest open data catalog with, you know, over 900,000 users and almost 500,000 data sets in that open data catalog. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Mike. The platform itself, just to give a super high 10,000-foot overview, is a cloud-native SaaS data catalog. Everything is built on top of a knowledge graph based on RDF and open standards, and with a heavy focus on really inclusivity and making sure that everyone in your organization can contribute their knowledge to the corpus of knowledge around the data in the catalog. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So we are a very recent member of the EDM Council. We're proud that we just joined within the last couple of months, but we've actually been working in some capacity with EDM Council for actually a couple of years. We've partnered with the EDM Council to provide assets like the FIBO ontology, along with a lot of hands-on examples and tutorials via our platform. So you can find all of those at https Data.World/EDM Council. A lot of the training courses that Mike alluded to actually utilize Data.World within those courses, both to manage data assets and actually get hands-on accessibility to the data. And we're really happy to be participating in the CDMC effort that Ollie mentioned earlier, particularly leaning in the sub-working group around developing an interoperable information model for data cataloging, so that various data cataloging vendors can share a model, share ontology, so that data is interoperable. And last slide. And I just wanted to close with, we're really happy. This is our first appearance on Forrester's wave around data catalogs. And we were really proud that the y-axis here for stronger current offering placed us really at the top of the line. We're really happy about that. We would love the opportunity to chat with anyone who is looking into data catalog and really expanding the notion of data governance to your entire organization. Thank you.
Great. Hey, Bryon, thank you. And the council's very pleased to announce our partnership with Data.World. You've been greatly supporting our FIBO and Open Graph training classes with live examples coming off the Data.World platform. In addition to that, we really do appreciate your contributions to the cloud data management effort and helping us lead one of the sub-teams in that work effort. So thanks again. There'll be more updates about work with Data.World in the future. And Bryon, again, welcome to the EDM Council. So a quick rundown on some updates on e-learning. We launched 2 years ago a full set of e-learning tracks. You'll see there are now 9 certification tracks. The newest edition is for data science, and it represents over 50 online courses. For the speed readers here, you can see it's a big list. So companies and members have an option to procure either individual courses like a fundamentals in data science or fundamentals in data governance, or they can actually procure course tracks for individuals who want to get certified, let's say, to be a data governance professional, a data steward, a certified master data management expert. So all of these tracks are available to both be evaluated, and about 30 to 40% of members worldwide are now actively training their data management and analytics staff using these courses. And these are some of the new courses that have come out over the course. And in fact, DCAM, data ethics, and knowledge graph are all being finally produced on the eLearning Curve platform. And starting with DCAM first this December, and then ethics and knowledge graph will be available in early Q1. So even more courses will be available for all of the members. Now onto our member work groups. The cloud data management activity, you've heard us talk about it. It is the largest work group the council has ran inception to date. It has over 50 organizations and 160 plus participants. I think we have actually recently topped 60 and 200 participants. And you'll see on the left side, the top global 4 cloud companies: Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. Each have a half a dozen to a dozen engineers working on this, along with 30 or 40 financial services firms. And the objective is to drill into these 6 core capability areas. So everything from catalog and classification all the way through to commercial best practices. We've been running this work group since May. We're around the midpoint. We plan to finish the drafting of this framework by the end of Q1 and then publish sometime before the end of Q2 2021. This framework will be a free license to the marketplace, but the council will make available certification and training programs and partner programs. So there's a support network in the marketplace. And the objective is to allow companies in a very thoughtful and comprehensive way to accelerate their cloud adoption by leveraging all of the best practice that the industry is coming and putting into this framework. So more to come. If you'd like to join the Cloud Data Management Work Group, let us know and we would welcome your participation. Another work group that's been very active is on ESG data. One of the early panels ran by Ernst & Young. We had several of the main leaders of the core group. This has been very active since June. Again, it's a huge space. Trillions of dollars are being invested. This work group is looking at what are opportunities for best practice across the data supply chain of ESG data. And of course, the council will look at this through the lens of data management best practice. This is also a group that you can join if you wish as well. Now, here's some additional member forums. I'd like to invite onto the call Liezel McCord, who's Managing Director with Morgan Stanley, head of the Data Center of Excellence. Liezel, if you want to join us for a moment to tell us about the Women in Data Forum.
Thanks, Mike. And I'm assuming you can hear me okay.
Yes.
Great. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It's really great to be able to talk about women in data. Definitely a topic close and dear to my heart, as I know also to Mike and John's from a council's point of view. Just by means of a quick introduction of women in data, as per the slide, it's a global group for both men and women, with the sole focus to provide opportunities for women in the data space. Now, the group, as you can see on the slide, is under the leadership of Andrea and Dessa, and they've got a global team that supports them. But again, from a global aspect, you can see we've got the Asia groups. They've got coverage in Singapore, Australia, Hong Kong, for example. In the Americas, I know they've got a few groups. I believe there's one in Toronto. I believe there's also a New York one. Might help me out if I've got that wrong, but I believe that's right. And then, what I want to focus in on today is on the EMEA side and what we're doing in Europe specifically for women in data. So if you can move to the next slide. Last year, roughly this time when the last, I think DataVision, whatever it was called then, was held, I also spoke about women in data. And at that time, we were talking about wanting to form. I'm very excited to say that we've brought the group together, the leadership team, and I'd like to introduce them to you today. We've come together as a group in May of this year, and we've been really obsessing, if I can be honest, about what the focus should be, and making sure that there's clear alignment with the council, and what they also want to achieve, and that the right level of support exists that we believe is needed, for us to be effective in wanting to achieve the goals. And I'll get to that in a second. The other thing to be cognizant of as well is, we are very aware that there's many similar women groups and also women in data groups that exist within Europe. So for us to be clear and focused on what makes us unique was also very important, hence all the conversations that we've had. So just to quickly run through some of the other people that's going to help lead and drive this. First and foremost, Marion Leslie. She's co-lead with myself. See, she's there at 6. I just have to say, Marion also just recently made the top 100 most influential women in finance list. So she's a great partner to have in this. Then you can see Camilla from Danone. I believe she's based in the Netherlands. You have Rosemary, recently retired, but with a wealth of information and knowledge. That goes without saying. And then Beate, who's at UBS, also in the Netherlands, which is fantastic. So collectively, we are looking to stand this up. Focusing on the goals, again, it's very much to create this connection and the opportunity to connect and to promote women in data. The council has committed on putting together a call it a database of women to allow people to go to source. We're very keen to see more women on panels, for example, to be keynote speakers, for example. And that is really the opportunity that we'd like to create. And then I think lastly, just in terms of the focus is, we also want to focus on real data problems, right? This is not, just to kind of come together and have a nice drink, albeit that it's very important and we'll definitely do that. But it's also, we want to have fireside chats, we want to have people have the freedom to come and say, we want to address this topic. We've got this trend emerging, we've got this regulatory pressure and this aspect. And then also be cognizant, we want to do this across industries. This is not just a finance focus. We want to keep it broad. And again, we're going to take the rest of this year to get fully set up and then to get going in 2021. So again, please have a look on the website and join or reach out. We would love more members and we're very excited about what 2021 holds. Thanks,
Good.
Mike.
Thank you, Liezel. And again, a very important group for the EDM Council, and Liezel, it has grown leaps and bounds. So just to reinforce, one question, Liezel, can both women and men join this group?
Oh, please, yes, absolutely. It's a global group with definitely, we need men as well. We need the diversity. Therein lies the beauty. Thank you.
Awesome. Liezel, thank you. And again, if you do want to join this group or any other forums, just go to the EDM Council website and you can join directly through EDM Connect once you set up your profile, which only takes a minute or two. And again, Liezel, thank you for the update. Another forum that we will be launching, just to make you aware of it, is the Global CDO Data Leader Forum. This will be chaired by John Bottega. I'll be supporting John in this effort. We will have an announcement about this and the opportunity for data leaders to join, and this will be conducted in Q1 of 2021. In addition to this, I've mentioned a few times EDM Connect. You may ask, what is it? It's the private member community. You can access it right off of the homepage. You do need to set up a profile. Then it's up to you to decide what information you share. There's over 5,000 members now of EDM Connect worldwide and growing. And it allows you to do basically three things. Number one, connect to 15 years of EDM Council resources. So whether it's DCAM, data quality best practices, and many other documents, you can directly download these onto your PC. Second is you can connect to any of the member or interest work groups directly off the platform, see the materials, see the discussions within the group, again, all facilitated online. And then finally, you can connect with other members. So you can search by topic or role. So if you want to connect with other data governance professionals or other data science professionals, you can make those connections, or you can do it by interest. In addition to that, we are going to have a new release for EDM Connect, an upgrade to the platform that's coming out this December. And it'll allow you to just have easier navigation. All of the newer work groups are going to be added onto this new release. So ESG and cloud will be operating inside of the new release coming available this December. The other thing is that we've been running webinars for almost one a week. In fact, I think this week we're going to do two in addition to DataVision. All of these webinars are educational. They're open to the public at large. Members and non-members can access them. And all you need to do is visit the resource tab, pull up the webinar gallery, and you can look through 20 or 30 different webinars by topic. And these are great primers for 45 minutes on various topics. And then finally, we do have one DataVision left for this 2020 year. It's for the Americas. So if you have any colleagues in Canada, US, South America, please let them know. It is open for registration right off of the EDM Council homepage. So John, with no further ado, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mike, and to also the presenters who presented with you, Mike. You know, our membership is based on contributions from participants and from members, and we wouldn't be here without people like those who spoke. So it's great to see that. So thank you to all who participated, Mike, in your delivery.